Hello, welcome to another Becoming a Modern Man. We are playing Lightning Wizard once again, and this time we're running up against blue-white control. So, this is our opening hand. We've got a Storm Chaser, 2 bolts, well, 1 Wizard's Lightning and Lightning Bolt, and a Become Immense. This is okay. Don't have a 1-drop, but as I say, I don't think the deck mulligans the best, so card with a deck, a hand with a creature and some burn spells, and a Become Immense as well. It seems pretty decent as far as opening hands go. So I'm going to fetch up a Stomping Ground here, opponent lead off with a Celestial Colonnade. Just going to attack for 1 here with the Storm Chaser, draw another Lightning Bolt, so we're certainly amassing quite a handful of burn. Attack here. Could have cracked off some bolts, but I decided against it. Maybe I should have done. But yeah. Pretends like they were going to path, but ends up not doing so, or decided against it. Or Wizard's Lightning. We're going to start trying to crack off our bolts here. Opponent then does decide to path. So maybe they just had a second thought last time about it. Could have responded to the path by playing this Wizard's Lightning, because obviously we don't want to play it for 3 mana. But additionally, we don't want to reduce our hand too low, because obviously our deck is filled with prowess creatures. So I decided to just keep this in hand for now. May have been the correct way to just play that out. Got to opt, which is nice. That finds us a Serum Visions. We see Wooded Foothills and a Vapor Snag. Neither of those are the cards we're looking for at the moment. Just really trying to dig towards another creature, ideally. Trying to Snapcaster, which is very nice with these bolts that we have. We'll cast a Lightning Helix end of turn. Just going to crack off a bolt there, just to get 1 in hand, and then I've got the potential to Snapcast a bolt, because if our opponent kills the Snapcaster in response to me targeting Wizard's Lightning, then I wouldn't have a wizard, and that would be slightly awkward. So we get to play Storm Chaser here and attack. So that came off the top. Opponent plays Snapcaster. Going for Snapcaster path rather than Helix, as there's a good chance that we have some spells that can make Storm Chaser live. So path's coming down here. I'm going to crack off these Wizard's Lightnings while I've got a Wizard in play, and also while we can get our opponent down pretty low here. So all the way down to 6 here. Get to fetch up a basic. Pass the turn. Attacks with Snapcaster Mage, bringing us down to 10. I draw a Serum Visions, find the Salt Strobe and Spy Bluff Canal. On the top, I think we're going to bottom both of those. We draw into another Snapcaster though, which is very nice. Given that our opponent's on 6, we've got a Bolt and a bunch of bolts in the graveyard. Attacks with 2 again. So let's play Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. I didn't really rate this card when it came out, and I still don't, to be quite honest. Maybe I need to see more from it. I certainly haven't played with it, so maybe it is good. There's a lot of people talking about it being better than Jace. I'm not entirely sure about that. In Modern anyway is what they're saying. I'm not entirely sold on that argument. Certainly it's better protected against Lightning Bolt, but I'm not entirely convinced it's all that exciting. And I wouldn't be surprised if Teferi kind of drops off the face of the Modern format shortly after. It just seems like a sort of a flash in the pan kind of thing. I might be wrong, but I just don't think it's all that impressive. It draws a card and taps a couple of lands, which is fine, but it's not exciting. Its -3 isn't terribly exciting either. Although it is a way of protecting Teferi. I mean, like I say, I think it's fine, but it's one of those sort of things where I would be surprised to see it last a long time. So end of turn, our opponent's going to untap a couple of lands with Teferi. Figure we might as well get our bolts in now before our opponent untaps their lands. So Bolt, going to play the Snapcaster, looking for the Snapcaster Bolt, which our opponent has a Logic Knot. You draw Adeliz off the top, but I think we're just going to go for the Snapcaster here, see if our opponent has an answer in the last 3 cards, and then obviously if they don't, then we can cast Adeliz and then become Immense. Yeah, we've got more than enough cards to become Immense, so we could have won one of 2 ways. So I'm just going to lead off with the Snapcaster Bolt obviously being the finish, but alternatively we could have got the Adeliz going, so that would have worked nicely. Adeliz into become Immense to finish off our opponent. So yeah, that manages to wrap that one up, and yeah, it kind of shows the kind of the other side of the deck. This was certainly more of a Snapcaster Bolt kind of game, which I think are the rarer kind of games, to be honest, but it certainly works out here with us drawing a couple of Snapcasters and a whole lot of lightning. So this is one of the games where the just bolting our opponent to death kind of works out. So let's go on to the sideboard. So in terms of sideboarding against a control deck, I think cards we want probably Dispels. I mean, they're going to be heavy on removal. They're going to have Path and Lightning Bolt and Lightning Helix, so they've got lots and lots of removal and Snapcasters to boot. So counter magic for their removal was going to be handy. So I think we just certainly want to bring the Dispels. I also like Bedlam Reveler in these control matchups. Basically, creatures that are kind of at a premium because they've got so much removal, and obviously being able to restock your hand with Bedlam Reveler is going to be handy as well. So I like bringing that in as well. Surge Extraction is also good against Snapcaster decks. Obviously, you can counter a Snapcaster activation, or just in general remove all their copies of Path to Exile or whatever problematic removal spell they have. So those are probably the cards I'm looking to bring it in. In terms of cards to bring out, I don't think Artful Dodge is particularly useful, given that they're unlikely to have too many blockers unless it's a Snapcaster Mage. Vapor Snag is probably the same kind of story, so maybe consider taking those out. I think we want to keep in as many of our creatures as we can for the most part, because they're so removal heavy. So after that, I don't know. Yeah, you only need to cut one more card if we're taking those out. So maybe the third Adeliz maybe to come out, just because it's a little bit slow and a little bit expensive. Alternatively, I suppose we could cut a Salt Strobe potentially, though that is a source of a quick win from time to time. But yeah, otherwise the deck's pretty fine. But yeah, I'd say Dispel, Surgical, and possibly the Bedlam Reveler to come in. Okay, so we have game 2. Okay, so this is our opening hand. We have Soulscale Mage into Storm Chaser. We've got a Wizard's Lightning, Surgical Extraction, and a Salt Strobe. So that all looks pretty good. Penalise with a Hallowed Fountain. I'm going to crack the Scalding Tarn into Soulscar Mage off Steam Vents. Put in place Search for as Canter. I'm just going to play Storm Chaser Mage here and get in for 2. Going to put some land into the graveyard off with Search. I'm going to play Steam Vents here. Then I'm going to see Steam Vents and a Scalding Tarn. Don't think we want any more lands realistically, but we'll certainly take the Steam Vent, the Serum Visions rather. So we're going to get attack here. Attack for 4. I think in hindsight we probably should have gone for more here and just pushed a little bit harder. We've got Dispel back up, and we've got this Wizard's Lightning, which we probably just want to use. But yeah, I ended up thinking before. I think we should have gone for the Wizard's Lightning and gotten as much damage as possible there in hindsight. But yeah, as I say, that's probably the most difficult part of the deck, is deciding when you want to keep things and when you want to put them away. So Serum Visions sees Mutagenic Growth and Lightning Bolt, both of which are good cards. Certainly want the Lightning Bolt. Mutagenic Growth works very nicely with Assault Strobe, so I'm not entirely sure what we did there. Might have kept both on top. So I'm going to get to attack here for 4. Opponent has Path for the Storm Chaser, which I'm going to try and dispel. But unfortunately our opponent has a dispel of their own. So away goes the Storm Chaser. We get into 3 there. Again, I think probably we should have Wizard's Lightninged there to put our opponent, well, to deal 4 more damage to our opponent. Opponent tries to Lightning Bolt the Soulscar Mage. In response, I'm going to Lightning Bolt, I'm going to Wizard's Lightning, and then Surgical. I'm going to Surgical Path because it's kind of an annoying card to have around. Annoying not to get some good value off of the of this, but this does save our Soulscar Mage here, which is nice. So opponent goes down to 4. I'm just going to Cryptic tap our guys here. I'm going to play up this second Soulscar Mage. I guess to search for his counter, flipping this time. And draws a Baneslayer Angel, which is a big problem for us, unfortunately. So Baneslayer is going to get in here, puts down to 5, opponent goes up to 9. Snapcaster gets Lightning Bolt to kill off one of our guys. And the opponent's Serum Visions as well. And yeah, that just wraps things up, unfortunately. We came very close here. I feel like we probably had, if we replayed this match, we probably missed a few points of damage that might have ended the game. I certainly think we should have used the Wizard's Lightning earlier. I think we were a bit too conservative with that, and possibly the Surgical Extraction as well. Maybe we should have just used that for the extra pump. Yeah, I think if we review this matchup in detail, we could probably see a way we could have dealt those extra 4 points of damage to finish this match off. So yeah, kind of regrettable that we didn't pick up the win here. Baneslayer Angel certainly something to watch out for, presumably a sideboard card, which could certainly be problematic, so need to keep that in mind. But yeah, not ideal, obviously, and yeah, we came very, very close to winning, which is kind of frustrating. But let's go on to game 3. Okay, so here we are, game 3. This is our opening hand. No creatures, so I don't think that we can keep that. This hand's better. We've got, obviously, perhaps too many creatures, but certainly a lot of creatures, which is handy. We've got the Serum Visions, which makes this a lot more keepable. We should be able to find our second land off of Serum Visions. So Dispel on top. Just going to scroll into the bottom, searching for our second land, draw into Serum Visions, and we found our second land and a Soulscar Mage. I think we're just going to bottom the Soulscar Mage at this point, given how creature heavy our hand already is. But we'll certainly keep the second land. Opponent plays Serum Visions, we play Storm Chaser, attack for 1. Opponent has Celestial Purge, which is fine. We can play Adeliz here. Just because she would be pretty good next turn if she stays on the battlefield. I assume it's a she, is it a guy? Uncertain. I think it's a woman. Still not sure. But yeah, we next turn, if Adelaide stays on the battlefield, we can play Storm Chaser and Serum Visions and then get a pump on our Storm Chaser as well as Adelaide. But unfortunately, Adler's gets pathed. As I say, we've still got plenty of gas in terms of creatures. Playing another Storm Chaser here. Going to Serum Visions. Try and dig a little bit deeper. Find Soul Scar Mage. And we're going to be able to parlay that into another Serum Visions, which is nice. Have 2 here. Play Soul Scar Mage. Cracks for another land. Serum Visions. Into Snapcaster, Path to Exile. He's going to take out our Storm Chaser. She's thinning our deck nicely, at the very least. We find another Soul Scar Mage. Just going to use Wizard's Lightning here to take out the Snapcaster to avoid any blocks, and then attack for 2. Play another Soul Scar Mage. Just we didn't necessarily need to kill off the Snapcaster there. Probably could have just attacked and seen if our opponent was willing to block. So here comes Baneslayer Angel, which was a big problem last game. But fortunately we have some fun tech here. So, well, it's not so much tech really, it's just reading the rest of Soulscar Mage. So the second part of Soulscar Mage, which doesn't come up a bunch, is that if a sorcerer you control will deal non-combat damage to a creature, opponent controls put that many -1/-1 counters on that creature instead. So basically gives Wither to your burn spells. So actually in this circumstance we can attack into Baneslayer Angel, and then we can Snapcast to the back this Wizard's Lightning. Use the Wizard's Lightning on the Baneslayer Angel, which then turns it into a 2/2. Still got Flying and First Strike and Lifelink, etc., but it's a 2/2 blocking a 2/3, and it's going to die here. So opponent doesn't lose any additional life here, but we do manage to get a Baneslayer off the board, which is pretty nice. And our battlefield is pretty tasty. Opponent cryptics us, tapping our creatures down. Plays a Spire Bluff Canal. He's actually been kind of low on red mana for throughout this game, for whatever reason. Opponent plays Search. Just going to find Stomping Ground here, and we draw into Become Immense. So if our opponent doesn't have Path here, we should be able to kill them. Going to Become Immense on the Snapcaster Mage. That's probably the least useful creature. And yeah, fortunately our opponent doesn't have Path to Exile, and we're able to finish off our opponent here. So yeah, pretty fun match all round. Got to see a few more aspects of the cards and the deck. Saw a game where we went down the sort of Lightning Bolt Snapcaster route. Also saw the Soulscar Mage second part of its ability come into play and come into handy, managing to kill off a Baneslayer Angel with a bit of Wizard's Lightning. So yeah, pretty entertaining matchup. Hope you enjoyed it. In general, I think this matchup is fine. It's just it's kind of dependent on how much removal they get. Obviously, they're a removal heavy deck. But we do have answers, certainly in the sideboard. Cards like Dispel. Bedlam Reveler is also a nice card against control decks. So yeah, it's not been too bad a matchup. I think generally we come out on top. But we just have to watch out for their sort of removal heavy hands, which can make our life a bit difficult.